As you can tell, we are outside once again. The weather has been kind to us, so we can finally talk about our favourite topic, which is cigars. And if you hear some rustling behind me as we talk about the weather and the environment, you may see our furry friend here, my little Pebbles the Pomsky. She is currently eating a bone. She is really into it, so I thought, why not film today's video with my precious darling angel with me. She may rustle around, she may run away, but this is real life, people. Anyway, that's not the topic that you came to watch this video for. I wanted to actually sit down because something crazy at the time of filming this, the weekend just gone, has happened, and I'm still a little bit in disbelief that this happened. But just to kind of cut to the chase, myself and my partner actually met an icon in the cigar game, and that is Eddie Sahakian. Now, I will put you all out of your misery and I'll throw up a picture because pics or it didn't happen, right? Felt a little bit starstruck, to be quite honest. I know a lot of people might not see what the big deal is about. They might not even know who he is. Certainly there were people that were nearby in his presence that had no idea that who we were talking to was someone quite notable. I will talk through all of the ins and outs, the details of how we met, just in case you are interested and would like to try so yourself. And I will be talking through that without a cigar, primarily because number one, I have little Munchkin over here, so it's not safe for her, obviously. But also number two, there are so many details that I'm so excited to share with you that I honestly don't think I would be able to smoke a cigar fully, but also with the attention it deserves. And I'll start by talking about the circumstances in which myself and my partner were just able to basically bump into him by accident. So this was by no means orchestrated. Let's have Munchkin closer because she keeps dropping her bone. So for those of you that don't know, Eddie Sahakian is actually, I guess, the face of the iconic Davidoff store. It's in St. James in London. Very posh part of London, might I add. It really feels like you're stepping back into a time machine. My goodness, someone over here is getting really into her bone. It's been established for over 40 years. So many big names have frequented their store. They've been mentioned in publications like Cigar Aficionado, amongst many other countless ones that I cannot name. I think Munch to be quite funny on camera. They obviously house the iconic Swiss brand Davidoff, of course, but they host a number of other Cuban and New World cigars, and it's basically done by a father and son team of Edward Sahakian, Eddie's father, who I believe is an Armenian. I think he's Armenian by descent, but fled from Iran from the revolution that was happening. So an incredible story. And I think Eddie himself took up the mantle from his father years afterwards. I think during the financial crash, he was an investment banker. So it's an incredible story how he got into his father's business. And of course, fast forward many years, even for my own personal journey, I mean, I think it's an understatement to say that one of the first faces that you recognise within the community is that of Eddie and his father, Edward. And I remember looking at so many YouTube videos online when I was first getting into cigars with my partner and figuring out how on earth do I do this so I don't look like an absolute idiot. Eddie's demeanour, his class, his elegance, his sophistication, the fact that he's basically like a modern gentleman and embodies all of the qualities of someone that should be smoking cigars is just incredible, and it was so enticing. And yeah, anyway, I'm going off track. So myself and my partner, we were actually just going for a day of basically eating out. We had booked via American Express, if that's an interesting detail or not, I'm not sure. They had partnered with some restaurants to basically try out different courses throughout the day. So it was like 2 starters, 2 mains and 2 desserts, but all at different locations. So we had 3 restaurants that we were going around in the St. James's area, and we thought it was just one restaurant, and it was actually 3. So really surprised, pleasantly surprised, of course. They were basically going on a restaurant bar crawl. We entered our first restaurant, Franco's, which is a heritage Italian restaurant, one of the first in St. James's area. We had lovely 2 starters, and then in between that and the main course, which was actually at a different restaurant altogether, the staff actually mentioned, you know, just to help over with turnover, because there was different groups doing different restaurants, why don't you go and frequent a store nearby in St. James, because the restaurant that we would be going to next is actually only a couple of minutes, basically a stone's throw away. So definitely just bide your time somewhere else. So actually we had noticed that Davidoff was just opposite the restaurant, so opposite Franco's, and we'd walked past earlier obviously to get to the restaurant, but we didn't have time to go and frequent inside. We wanted to stock up on the collection, and so we thought perfect opportunity to go ahead and check out the store, because actually, fun fact, I'm not sure if I've talked about this on my channel before, but Davidoff, the store at least, was the first cigar experience that we had. It was also the first place that we had bought a cigar ourselves, and I think from memory it was a Fonseca. It was, I think, maybe a Robusto size or Petite Corona, something similar, but the staff are incredible. They're always super lovely, super knowledgeable, of course, and our experiences have always been impeccable. I can't remember if we've only been that one time, that fateful day that we got into cigars, or if we've been another time since then, but we had not ever seen any kind of big names at the store, least of all Eddie that we're talking about. We went in, we actually, I think it was my partner, because I didn't spot him immediately because we were basically greeted by a lovely lady who was helping us pick a cigar in the cigar room because it's separate to the store. But he was, I think out of the corner of my partner's eye, he noticed, he said, "Hey, that's Eddie Sahakian, isn't it?" And I was a bit like, no, definitely not. There was loads of clients as well that were being served. And lo and behold, behind the counter, saw that luscious salt and pepper hair out of the corner of our eyes, and it was him. But obviously we were there to get a cigar, and we didn't want to basically fangirl and fanboy at the beginning. So being conscious of the time, we went into the cigar room, we picked out a wonderful, I think it was a Dominican or Honduran cigar. We went and bought it based on the wonderful lady's recommendation who was helping us. And then as we were leaving, we had like literally 3 minutes or so to spare before we needed to go to our next restaurant for the mains. So we were actually prepared to leave. My boyfriend left first, but myself, for me personally, I'm somebody who wants to basically strike while the iron is hot. I've been in so many situations that I've never really talked about where I've seen someone big that has inspired me or that I kind of look up to, and I've never said anything, and I always kick myself afterwards. Somehow I got the courage and just went up to him and tapped him on the shoulder while he was still serving his clients, might add. So I was feeling so bad, and he turned around. I think I said something like, "I'm so sorry to bother you, but we love your channel, we love what you've done with the store, love the brand, and you know, you are actually the reason that we smoke cigars." And he actually stepped away from his clients, spoke to us for what felt like forever. It really felt like he was catching up with an old friend, and not at all embarrassing, which I honestly was working myself up a lot around. And he was really keen to listen around how we got into it. My boyfriend came back in, we all shook hands, we all exchanged names and things, and then we said, you know, it would be great if we could take a photo with you. We were very prepared to do a selfie moment, but he actually called one of the clients, who was called Omar, super lovely, and he took the photos for us, and those are the photos that you'll see on the screen. And it was amazing because he actually said, "You know what, I'll do you one better. Oh, come on, Munchkin, I'll do you one better, and why don't we sit on the iconic chairs where he hosts all of his in conversation kind of podcast videos, like the ones that he's done with Kirby Allison, like the ones they've done with his father as well." And I'm not sure if Munchkin, oh bless you, is having a sneeze attack right about now. He made us feel really special, by the way, which is really nice. He's just an incredibly nice guy. As you see on camera, it's what you get in real life. I guess that's why a lot of clientele are so loyal to the Davidoff brand, because of him. And I suppose why he's the kind of authority figure that a lot of people, myself included, go to learn more about cigars. Certainly I did that from his YouTube videos. They were always a really helpful resource that I credit a lot of my knowledge to. And he was just really encouraging, you know, keep smoking, keep that passion alive, especially the females as well. So it was just really lovely that he was able to spare that time for us, and we just left the store feeling absolutely buzzing. And I kind of wish now in retrospect that we actually got the cigar signed, but hopefully, fingers crossed, there'll be more chance encounters, perhaps with his father as well, who mentioned does also frequent the store. You'd think that that was it to the story. The funny thing is, so myself and my partner went to the next restaurant. We went to the next restaurant after that, had dessert as well. And I think, actually, was it the second restaurant? After the second restaurant, we had to walk past Franco's again to get to our third restaurant for desserts, which was the final. And we actually stumbled across Omar and one of his friends. So Omar was the person who actually took the photos for us. And I guess it's an important detail because not only was he the client that was buying cigars from Eddie, he actually summoned Omar to take the photo, which I thought was hilarious. But he actually hosts his own podcast. It's called the Curiosity Project, if I'm not mistaken. It's a very kind of intellectual, cultural discussion. He gets on guests like Eddie, like Kirby as well. They just smoke up a cigar and chat and shoot the breeze with each other essentially for a couple of hours. And yeah, we saw him again with his friend Martin, if I'm not mistaken, and they were at Franco's where we had basically just eaten, and they were preparing to smoke a cigar, and they had a bunch of cigars. I cannot even tell you how many were on display. It was a cigar lover's dream. There were some double shots as well. They had some, I think, some Corona sized ones, various New World cigars that they were actually reviewing, because Omar not only hosts his podcast, but he also reviews cigars. And we just started chatting, and it was a real shame we couldn't chat for longer because they invited us to smoke. We ended up all exchanging details, and we made a new friends, rather. I must say, we got definitely more than we had bargained for with this meal. We had no idea though that in our wildest dreams that we would meet such an icon in the game as Eddie, let alone then also make some friends with a cigar enthusiasts who definitely know way more than myself and my partner included. But I just wanted to share that story because I think it just goes to show that the world is pretty small, you know, especially in the context of recent videos that I have made around maybe feeling a little bit dejected about cigars and filming those videos. Meeting someone like Eddie in real life, that these people exist, was definitely very hopeful and exciting. And meeting Omar and Martin as well was also something that was really eye-opening. To have people that are very cultured, that are very knowledgeable about this topic and are really passionate as well, super hard to find. It's kind of something that I want to cultivate in terms of this channel, that kind of community, especially for women, like I mentioned, because a lot of people's audiences, I don't think people understand. I think there's like 35 or 40% of the audiences for Omar's channel to be women. I think for mine is pretty similar as well. Hopefully there'll be very exciting projects coming up soon that I'm definitely a lot more motivated on pushing forward nowadays in regards to cigars. So definitely keep your eyes and ears out for that. And who knows, the world is very small. We may meet other legends yet. And Pebbles is over the story, so I think that is a good place for me to end this video. I do hope you enjoyed the little bit of the story time. Hope you don't mind too much that I'm not smoking, but I think there are probably better times to do that. I will leave this video here. Thank you as always for watching, and I will catch you in my next one.